Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vegan TourGuide podcast with your host, Mike Knight, where we'll bring you great information about a vegan plant-based diet. It doesn't matter if you've been vegan for years, part-time vegan, or just gathering more information. This podcast is for you. Thanks again for joining, and let's get today's tour started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vegan TourGuide podcast. I'm your host, Mike Knight, and I hope you are having a phenomenal day. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you that are the repeat listeners, thanks so much for making this is what it is and helping me spread the word, and through you, all of us spread the word about plant-based vegan, lifestyle, eating, and everything in between, and just getting that information out there to people so people know, hey, what's possible and how to get there. So thank you so much for helping do that. Got a great show coming at you today. And first, want to say a big thanks to our sponsor today. Our sponsor is John Cantrell at HB Cantrell and Company. All you listeners out there, you know how it is. I mean, all of you are healthy people, trying to be healthy, working on being healthy, and looking for tips and tricks and things to take care of yourself, which is what we always strive to do here. Well, the same way that we're trying to find ways to be healthy with our body, HB Cantrell and Company find ways to be healthy with your insurance. They act as risk advisors for businesses and families all across the Southeast United States. They're doing workers' comp, business insurance, life insurance, auto and homeowners insurance. They've got you covered. So please, go check them out at thecantrellreview.com. That's www.thecantrellreview.com. Thecantrellreview.com. And of course, that'll be in today's show notes as well to get that. So, hey, go check them out and see what they've got going on and how they can help you. Because again, they're helping this podcast, which enables us to just broaden our search and our range to get in front of more and more people. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for all of you that are helping spread this. I know a lot of you have been forwarding this podcast on to friends, business workers, people you just come across and say, hey, go check out Vegan TourGuide to gather some information. Because as you know, this is for everybody. The purpose of this podcast is for whether you're starting out, just gathering information about plant-based vegan, or if you've been plant-based vegan for a while and just looking for more tips and tricks, or somewhere in between, just put a toe in the water. It doesn't matter. That's what this is for. So thank you so much. All right, so on to today's show. We've got someone phenomenal on today, Ken Botts, all right, Food and Nutrition Director with Humane Society. He's on today, and he has an exciting story about what's going on with the Humane Society, and especially the initiative that he's doing and his path to, joining the Humane Society of the United States, and what he's done, especially. You're going to hear an incredible story with the University of North Texas Dining Hall and what they did there, all right? And what he continues to do now, spreading information across the entire U.S. and now internationally. Great things that he's doing and that everyone else here at the Humane Society. As you know, I have spoken with several people at the Humane Society, love them, love all the work they're doing, and they're tirelessly in what they do to promote for the better welfare and just helping spread the word and the message. So, without further ado, everybody sit back, relax, and get ready for Ken Botts.
All right, Ken, we're good. Thanks so much for coming on the Vegan TourGuide. How are you?
Oh, it's such an honor and a pleasure to be speaking with you. I'm doing great. It's wonderful here in California where I'm at right now, so blessed to be here.
I tell you what, and where I'm at right now, you definitely have my envy. I'm sitting here in a downpour, torrential downpour in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I love what you've been doing, and I can't wait to go right now for sure. Have you tell your story, because I remember, I talked to Christy about this even while back what you were doing. Near, it's already been doing some amazing things like that. And what I'd like to do is kind of I appreciate what I do. Then Christy, you and I tell each other your story, your journey, what it's like, plant-based, and kind of how you wound up, with Humane Society, and what all that looked like. How did you get here?
Well, that's a really fun question. So it started when I was 15 years old, and I won't go through year by year. But my mom told me that if you go to work in food service, you'll always have a job, and she was right. So at the age of 15, I started a 35-year career in fast food, which about 12 years ago turned into a career change, moving it from retail fast food into the institutional marketplace of college and university or higher education food service. And for the first 5 years of that time, I was with Sodexo, which is a big food service contractor. And I would go around the country and I'd open up new food service operations for them. And then after that, they moved out of the University of North Texas where I was at, and the university decided to operate their own food service. So they brought me in as a project manager for dining services there. Well, my very first project was opening up the nation's very first vegan dining hall. And so me and a team of folks worked about 3 months, and we converted one of the dining halls into an all-vegan dining hall. And it was a great success. Still to this day, it's there, and it's very successful. About 3 years ago, I decided to move back to sunny Southern California, where I live now. And that's when the Humane Society of the United States offered me a position. I had been volunteering with them while I was in Texas, helping them do outreach to other universities who were looking to embrace the plant-based menus. And as a result, it turned into a career that I quite honestly couldn't have not even defined. It's been an incredible road trip since I started with them in 2014. Back in 2014, we were in touch with the Harvard University, and the culinary executive there, Chef Martin Breslin, had reached out to us via a conference that I was attending, and he said, we want to put more plants on the plate. Do you have some type of training? And at the time, we didn't. But we reached out to my friend, Chef Wanda White, who was still working at the University of North Texas, managing and operating the dining hall there. And she helped me put together what is now one of the successful programs. We call it the Forward Food Culinary Experience.
All right. Very good. So what does that entail then? What the Forward Food Culinary Experience? What is that?
Yeah. So what we do is we go around the country and we work with colleges, universities, hospitals. We're even doing the military now. And we spend 2 days in the kitchen with them. And we work through a set of about 60 recipes. And we start with breakfast and go all the way through dessert. And we show them how to create delicious plant-based menus there in the kitchen, hands-on, knives and cutting board. And it's a really great experience for these chefs.
Nice. Well, let me go back to when you did the initiative and the switch over at University of North Texas. What was it like? I'm curious what obviously I can imagine, but what were your first thoughts? Imagine maybe even wondering trepidation, wondering how it would be received. Kind of, what was that even like in the beginning, and what was the game plan to make that successful?
Yeah, honestly, we all thought we were going to lose our jobs because we didn't ask for permission. We were ready to ask for forgiveness, though.
Yeah.
And nobody else had ever done it before. It was a little ahead of trend. But we knew that the trend was coming because the ask was happening consistently across the board from all of our students. And so we knew it was the right thing to do. We had 5 dining halls at the time. One of them, the one that we converted, was seriously underperforming. So honestly, it wouldn't have been a loss for us if it had failed because we were going to close it anyway.
Uh-huh.
So we spent about 3 months. We had hired Chef Wanda White to engineer the menus, and then I had my design team work on designing the inside of the cafeteria. And in fall of 2010, we opened it to an incredible experience, something that we could not have even imagined. First of all, the transactions in that dining hall, and the reason we were going to close it, there were only about 175 transactions a day. Well, when we redesigned it and reopened it, that went up to 500 transactions a day.
What?
So that's crazy, right?
That's like 250%.
Yeah, and it was
oh my gosh,
voting with their dollars, saying, you know what, we like what you did and we want more of it. And on top of that, our non-traditional meal plan sales, or what we call our voluntary meal plan sales, went up 35%. And so again, these are students who didn't need to have meal plans, who said, we want to eat there, and so they got meal plans so they could eat there. Additionally, and what we didn't expect was the amount of media attention that we got. Within the first 3 weeks, we had over $165,000 worth of earned media come through the university just because of that one dining hall. everything from USA Today to ABC News. They wrote this really cute article. It was titled Adios Amigos, Texas Tap Goes Vegan. Really cute title. But then the industry magazines were also paying attention to it. Food Service Director magazine and Today's Dietitian, which goes out to all the dietitians around the country, really celebrated the fact that this university in North Texas stepped up and did something that nobody had ever done before. And it was the right thing to do for the business reason, for the students, and really made a big splash around the world. We were getting calls from Australia, Germany, people really celebrating the fact that we had done this.
That is awesome. And I got to say, I love even the fact just that, you did it and it occurred there like in Texas. I'm going to tell you, you know what? There's different things you think about different areas. I think Texas, of course, media and how we're deluged with stuff. I'm instantly throwing all these commercials on TV about, the cows, cattle, and all like that being raised there. And you just naturally gravitate to thinking that it's a big, if you will, steak, area, steak state and all like that. So I think it's so cool that, among all places, that's where also it happened. Just the significance of what could happen there.
Yeah, and and that's a good point to bring up because it's people what's driving this trend, and it's not even a trend anymore; it's the norm for people to want more plant-based items on their plate. Is that people are eating this way for a variety of different reasons, as you know, and as your listeners probably know. Folks are starting to eat this way for all reasons. We're hearing a lot about global warming. And so what we know is that the largest contributor to the greenhouse gas emissions in the world is factory farming of the foods, of the animals that go on our plate. And so people are starting to pay attention to that know with knowledge that if they decide to eat a plant-based meal, that they're doing something good for the environment and for the health. But then when you take it back into the student realm, into colleges and universities, you have students that are eating for religious reasons. They might be following kosher or halal. You've got students that care about animals, and so they're eating for that reason. But for whatever reason, all of these things together collectively really have taken that away from just the vegan and vegetarian crowd and makes it about everybody. And so we've seen that happen not only back in Texas, but now that we've started this training program 3 years ago, we've done over 80 of these trainings now around the country, and we're doing them in every state. I was just up in North Dakota. We have an event going in South Dakota, Iowa, all these areas where they're known for, dairy farming and meat consumption, cattle raising, poultry. These are big ag areas. We were in Greeley, Colorado, just recently, and that's the, for Colorado, that's like the Colorado production, cattle production area. We were surrounded, I think I looked on a map and we had, literally, 6 slaughterhouses around the hotel that we were at within 2-mile radius. And then we looked at the capos around that, the concentrated feedlots, and we had about 4 of those in the area. So, I mean, and here we are at, a university in Colorado doing a training and teaching chefs how to create plant-based menus. So, for a variety of reasons, this is really here to stay.
That is awesome. So I'm curious, a lot of the places you go into right now, is it something that maybe the chefs and that staff has requested it? Or is it a lot of times maybe, upper level, if you heard about this and said, hey, you come in and do this? Because I'm kind of curious, is even like, where I'm going with that is if it's not the chefs requesting, what is their sometimes initial reaction if maybe it's new to chefs?
Yeah, the asks come from a variety of different locations. So sometimes we have a very passionate student group. Maybe it's the Veg Club or the Animal Rights Club, and so they've already, contacted the food service director and said, hey, we want more of these options. And so they put me in touch with the food service director, and then we take the conversation and turn it into one of these trainings. But anymore now, because we've done so many of them, and we're very involved with the industry. I speak at a lot of conferences, higher education food service conferences. I speak at sustainability conferences. And these are folks that are making decisions on the food that's being put on people's plate. And so we're getting requests now. We actually hardly ever go out anymore and seek, a location to do this. We're actually getting calls now. People are calling us, chefs, food service directors, students still, people are just calling us and saying, hey, I heard about this training and we want to do one at our university. And it's a wonderful thing because it's gone beyond just, a request from that vegan club. It's now a request coming from everybody on campus. And as a result, these chefs are looking for ways to put more plants on the plate. And the way they can do that is by doing this training.
That's awesome. Now I got to imagine, too, I know you're going down there for that. I'm curious, do you ever get into when you're talking to organizations about, like, the economic side and economic savings for them and stuff like that? I'm curious, does that ever come into play, or is that even how maybe you present these options, or?
Yeah, they get it. So we take a whole foods plant-based approach to the training, and right off the bat, they see that could have a significant impact in the positive direction on decreasing their their food purchases. Because, when you look at broccoli versus beef, broccoli's a lot cheaper than beef, and chefs can take that and get really creative with it and make it taste delicious on a plate. So the food service professionals and the contractors now, they're looking at this as a way to not only create highly acceptable foods for the folks that they're serving, but it's also a way for them to save money on their bottom line, and that gets them very excited.
Nice. Good. And like you were saying earlier, and that's one thing I love, this is such a win-win-win, type of thing when people and organizations look at plant-based. Because it invites so many people, whether they're coming at it from, like even you've described, how many different organizations reach out. Sometimes it's, like an animal rights, organization may be reaching out because obviously you're saving the animals with this. And sometimes you have people that are about health, sometimes about, clean eating, sometimes about the environment, because like you said, the gas and, what's going on there, what's released by factory farming. That's what I love. And so it's neat to see how many different organizations are reaching out to you. What has been some of just the biggest surprises, I guess, as this has taken off to you? What's been maybe just shocked you that's happened?
We're getting asked from correctional facilities now. So you've got folks that are in jail that are trying to eat better and improve their health. And, they have just as much of a right to access to great clean eating as everybody else does. And so we've been contacted by correctional facilities. We're seeing a big surge right now happening in the healthcare sector. So for the first time, and I'm really coining this the year of healthcare, because it hasn't always been easy working with hospitals because they haven't wanted to put this type of food. It's been more about food that makes their patients happy instead of healthy. And now that's changing. We've got hospitals coming to us saying we want to put food on the plate that's going to get our patients healthy. We just did a big, giant training down at Baptist Health South, which is the largest healthcare provider in Miami, the southern Florida area. We got 7 hospitals, and they were just so excited to have this training. And they're already doing some really great stuff there with their hospital food. But it's not just cafeterias anymore; it's going into the patient menus. And so we're just seeing it happen from everywhere, and to the point that this has grown internationally. We just did a training in Canada. We've got Humane Society International is doing it, copying our program and doing it in the UK, in Brazil, and in Mexico. So we're seeing this program grow internationally.
That is awesome. And I love that you said hospitals. Just, we'll keep at it, one by one if we need, but I love hearing that hospitals in the medical field are getting involved. And there's some that are. I'm one of those persons. I'm fortunate that my doctor practitioner, he is all in tune with what I do. We talk about it all the time. It's something that, he even tells me that now he has the floor from seeing it through me and what I've gone through transformation. He'll tell patients when they come in, look, I have a patient that, and so it's, I love hearing this. I love that there's that push, and that's awesome that you've got that going on, and you've got it going into the hospitals. Because that, as you and I both know, that'll be huge if we can get the medical industry behind this.
It goes across all demographics when you're working with hospitals. We have folks on our team that specialize in the K through 12 segment. So we have a program similar to this that focuses on K through 12. Well, we just created one that's specific to registered dietitians in the healthcare profession. But this culinary training really affects a lot of different demographics. Hospitals they don't have a specific demographic. It's just you're sick and you go there to get better. And when we do these trainings, and it's so funny that almost every one of the trainings that we've done in a hospital setting, somebody on the team, whether it's the food service director or the registered dietitian for the hospital, will get up and quote, let food be thy medicine. And they're getting it now. They're getting that connection between the sick people and the food that they're eating. And what they know is that, in some cases, 60%, even more of all of the patients that are walking through their door are walking through the door with diseases related to diet, chronic preventable diseases like heart disease and cancer and obesity. I mean, these are all preventable diseases that have a direct correlation to the food that we put on our plates.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let's talk. We're talking food. You're doing this. I want to know, bring us just for people listening, and probably I'm the one raising both hands and waving them around. You're idea for easy recipes. I know I'm switching gears a little bit, but I love when people, especially like yourself, that can give insight. What do you say to people? Because my audience is varied. Some people that are just gathering information. Some people have one toe in the water. Some are lifelong and long-term, plant-based. Everyone between. What are maybe some easy go-to recipes that maybe you would advise people listening? Here's what you can make on the fly or just daily. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. As you were setting up that question, I was thinking about a message that I got on Facebook from a lady in England, and she was just breaking into becoming vegan, and she said, "I'm really struggling with what kind of food I can make." And I have a sister-in-law who's from London, and so I told her, "Well, have you tried beans on toast?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And I go, "That's vegan." So it could be as easy as something like that. One of my favorite go-to meals is I take a can of Heinz beans, the beans without the pork, and I pour it over a baked potato. In England, they call that a jacket potato. But most of our recipes that we use in these trainings are 10 ingredients or less, 5 steps or less. So this type of food can be delicious and easy at the same time. One of the easiest dishes, and it's my wife's favorite dish, is cauliflower fried rice. So I use rice in quotations because there's really not rice in it, but we actually rice the cauliflower, and we just serve it up as a stir fry. So you heat the pan, you throw some oil, you saute your onions, you throw in the rice cauliflower, some mixed vegetables, top it with some soy sauce, and you've got a complete meal.
Very nice. Let me ask you, I'm curious, oil. What time do you prefer? I'm just kind of the oil that you would use.
It depends on what type of cooking I'm doing. I tend to use a lot of grapeseed oil. Because
Grapeseed?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I do a lot of high heat cooking. If I'm doing a dish, I do a lot of Indian cooking, so coconut oil is my go-to oil. I try to stay away from what's called the bad oils, like the palm oils and the different oils that aren't as good for your health. And actually, and this is really more from my wife, I try to avoid oil at all costs where I can. Just because it's really not necessary when you're cooking. You can do high heat cooking, for example, sautéing onions. You can do that with water, what we call water sautéing. So this is a big request right now, especially as we're breaking into healthcare. Our recipes we're created for college and university, so they have a little oil in them. They have a little salt. Probably more than you want to give to a person who's sick in a hospital. So we've partnered with Dr. Nancy Burkhoff. She wrote the book Vegan in Volume, and she's just a genius when it comes to creating healthcare menus. She's currently working in healthcare, but she's also a chef and a registered dietitian. So she's going through our recipes, and she's taking all the oil out and lowering the sodium, and then we're going to recreate that book, and it's going to be our new training book moving forward for healthcare.
Very nice. All right. So speaking of moving forward, give us some goals that you've got, like for maybe wrap up maybe this last quarter or even 2018 and beyond. But what are some goals you've got set?
So our biggest goal is to work with the largest food service providers in the world, and in the last couple of weeks we've actually accomplished that. So 2 years ago we started working with Compass USA, which is the largest of the 3 food service contractors here globally. You've got Compass USA, you've got Aramark and Sodexo, and they provide most of the food service for pretty much any institution, whether it's a business and industry, college and university, the military, whatever. Their hands are usually in that. And so we helped Compass Group about 2 years ago create a concept called Ribbit that they rolled out to all of their divisions. So we originally created it for college and university, but they liked it so much that they said, we want to roll this out to business and industry. We want the hospitals to have access to it. So now we're continuing that relationship, and we're helping them evolve the menus for that, as well as doing trainings that are specific to menus that we created for that program. In about 2 weeks, we're meeting with Sodexo at their corporate office, and we're helping them design a all plant-based dining hall concept, which we're hoping will roll out in fall of, or actually January of 2018. And then Aramark, I don't know if you saw the news, but Aramark just made an announcement of their relationship with the Humane Society of the United States and how we'll be helping them with training on plant-based menuing. So that's all happening at the corporate level. So we really, in the next 3 weeks, we're going to be accomplishing the goal that we set for the entire year. And that's going to affect thousands of institutions in a positive way, and it's going to affect millions of lives. And it's going to save hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of animal lives as well.
You know, it is. I mean, that is awesome. I mean, it's funny because, of course, I'm listening, and as you start saying that ambitious goal, I'm like, that's an awesome goal. That's ambitious. And then you follow it with, well, we're pretty much hitting it already. I was like, that is fantastic. And like you said, because a lot of what we do, even, at a young age, is just, the war, we're kind of following along sometimes, quote, the system. And if the system is putting, the standard, meal that I grew up with, in school, corn dog, French fries, and something else on the plate or whatever, that's what, you just kind of go along with that. But what I love now with what you're going to get in these institutions, you and I both know the nice thing is when that's the option presented to people and they're exposed to it, then it'll become the norm. And we can now grow to see that being the norm. I mean, this is awesome news.
Yeah, and and I'm sure that a lot of your listeners that tune in are looking for advice on where to eat when they're traveling or when they're entertaining. And last year we worked with SeaWorld parks. We actually trained all of the senior culinary teams from their main offices in Orlando all the way up to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and down back through Texas and then into California. And they're featuring probably about 30% of all of their menus now are plant-based. And they're actually even highlighting their plant-based menus at their food shows that they do at the different parks. And this is all part of them reinventing themselves. They took a big hit over the last couple of years because of the orca shows, and they're really trying to change their business model and be more of an animal protection organization. And so in order to align with that, they're changing even the food that they're serving in their parks. And I think that's a really exciting thing. So it's happening everywhere. We're even starting to get asks now from sports parks. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that work just coming up here. Yeah.
That is phenomenal. All right, well, let me ask you, where can people listening, if they want to follow you, maybe follow what's going on and all, what's the easiest way just to keep up to date with these big events that you keep announcing that keep happening?
Yeah, I am on my team known as the social media guru, so I'm on every platform from Snapchat to Facebook. So just search my name on any of those, Ken Botts, and Botts is how you spell my last name. You can also get me at my email, which is kbotts, KBOTTS, @humanesociety.org. And I'd be more than happy to help any of your listeners out there who are trying to transform food in whatever organization they're a part of. Maybe they're going to a school or they work in an office somewhere. Let's chat and let's figure out a way to fix this broken food system that we're all a part of.
And I thank you so much for bringing that up because I know before you and I spoke, Christy mentioned that to me before, that you were so generous about that, even helping people that may say, you know what, it's not the huge corporate level. However, I've got this organization that maybe, a local private school or something they're involved with. I love, like you said, knowing that people can reach out to you. And for everyone listening, everything in show notes. I'll reiterate, and it'll be typed out there so they can see exactly how to get in touch with you, email and other social channels. So yeah, they can reach out to you, to get some help on that. Cause that'd be awesome. Also, like I said, you can give some information to people to, help change lives, on their own local level, wherever they may be listening to this podcast. So thank you so much. I mean, thanks for coming on and thank you so much for what you're doing.
Oh, you're welcome. It all starts with one person, and I've seen that happen over and over again. And if there's anything I can do to help any of your listeners be that one person who affects change, let's make it happen. I live for that.
Awesome. Well, Ken, thank you so much, and we shall talk soon.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a great afternoon.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Wow, what a show. Thank you so much, Ken Botts, again, for coming on and your great information and your energy, passion, and enthusiasm for what you do. It is so evident in listening to you, and I can't wait to follow up and talk with you again because, I mean, you've got those big goals you start talking about, and you're already crushing those goals, so I can't wait to talk to you a little bit again in the future and see what goals you have then. You know, and I also want to say thank you to Chef Wanda White. Everyone, as we were listening to this, you heard Ken mention several times Chef Wanda White being an integral part as well and helping out with this. And so hope to talk with Chef Wanda White sometime soon in the future. I also want to say thanks again to everyone involved with the Humane Society. They're just, again, a great group of people. You know, I've gotten the pleasure of speaking to several people you've heard on previous podcast episodes. And so just always appreciate them and what they're doing. And thank you so much for listening. Again, you're the reason why I do this. I really love just spreading information about people's journeys, you know, what people are doing, what they're working on. Like talking to Ken, really about what he's working on, what the Humane Society of the United States is working on, you know, the initiatives they're doing. And you hear now how you listening now have a direct contact with Ken. You'll have everything in the show notes, his direct personal email address and everything, to where if you want to reach out to him and say, you know what, Ken, I've got an organization that I'd love to figure out how I can bring, you know, a vegan plant-based menu to this organization, my son or daughter's school or something like that. How do we do it? You know, an organization you're a part of. Well, now you have a contact. You have someone that has your game plan for you. And, you know, a lot of times in life, that's what it's about. You know, we have the ideas and we have the passion to do something. We need the roadmap. We need the game plan. Well, with Ken Botts, you now have that. So, Ken, thank you so much for offering that up for all the listeners. Listeners, take advantage of that. That's what we're doing this for, all right, to continue to spread the message, spread information. So take advantage of that and talk to Ken and reach out to him and continue to support in the ways that you can in your local community, any way you can to help spread information. Send everybody to VeganTourGuide.com. That's where, you know, you've got previous podcast episodes plus blog posts, information. Really appreciate all your support. I want to say thank you again for the big support from John Cantrell and the HB Cantrell and Company for sponsoring today's podcast. Like we said, look, we all listen to this talking about, you know, vegan, plant-based, the way it helps, you know, our bodies, our health, our environment, you know, and really provides a better place for all of us. And that's what, in their way, HB Cantrell and John Cantrell, they do, is, again, just being your risk advisor. So if you're in the Southeast United States, reach out to them at thecantrellreview.com and see what they can do for you to help take care of, you know, your workers' comp, business, life, insurance, homeowners insurance, see how they can help you and help make that healthy for you. Because again, you know, people have asked before how I look at everything. You know, it's kind of like spokes on a wheel. There's not just one thing in life we do. You know, we're always looking for, you know, like maybe how we eat. Let's get that better. All right. But also how we get back, you know, to our community and the world in general. Let's always work on that spoke of the wheel, you know, taking care of ourselves physically, you know, whether it be yoga, you know, working out, running, something like that, that spoke of the wheel. Then our meditation, prayer, you know, however that is for you. Again, another spoke on the wheel. And this also is the same thing. So thanks everybody for listening. Like I said before, it means a lot that you've been spreading this around to others. You come visit VeganTourGuide.com. Email me. Love getting the emails. Love hearing feedback from you at VeganTourGuide@gmail.com. Always want to know people you love to have on the show or connections you have. You know, a lot of this is, you know, via connections right here. You know, I got in touch with Ken because my good friend Christy Middleton at the Humane Society of the United States put Ken and I in touch with each other. So again, it was a referral there. So please, if you got a referral to somebody that would be great on the show, and you know, this show's about all kinds of people, everybody. I want to hear their journeys because as we know, their journey may be the journey that someone listening to this show or one of you listening to this forwards it to somebody else, makes a difference in their life. They connect. Something about what that person says is they can connect to or resonates with them and says, you know what? I see how I can do it. I see how I can make plant-based vegan a part of my life and incorporate it. It now makes sense for me, or it clicks, or I see my path, like we were talking about earlier, the game plan, okay? Everybody, thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, live Pura Vida.